I have essentially 4 different practice plans for combination mini mites and mites. This will come out digitally, which helps because there's some videos and stuff in here to reference. But in general, a few things. I remember I stopped playing soccer in 5th grade, and I remember I spent a lot of time in lines. I had a very good coach, but he was from Scotland, and for one of those, forgot more soccer than I'll ever know, right? But at that point in time, I still remember I spent a fair amount of time in lines, waiting to be the next one up to do a drill. Our goal, and when that's like we ordered a bunch of more soccer balls, and you have ideally as many soccer balls in the bag as you will have players on the team, so that way there's no question if you have enough balls for kids to keep a ball at their feet. That's our goal. So you'll see some of these drills that we run through, and we're trying to video them, trying to even toss the drone up so you can get some aerials. We're trying to make it easy to find easy content so you know what to do. But the goal is keeping a ball at the kids' feet at this level, right? We're not going to go from mini mite to professional, but we can get kids to be comfortable having a ball at their feet. So that's really the goal. I tell my families every year for our mini mites, especially, and even to our mites level, some of the drills will very much look like organized chaos, right? It's just to keep kids moving with the ball at their feet. So really, on this sheet, our goal is for our mini mites and our mites, work on 4 main skills to introduce to the kids and then develop. So dribbling, so it's obviously tied to dribbling. Our first practice is on here, it's for dribbling. I call it a first practice, but based on how much practice time we end up scheduling, you'll probably have mini mites. Last year we did give 1 full practice hour the first week, which was new, versus going straight into scrimmage time. But what we'll do is, our mites will have at least 2 practices, and then you'll probably have a scrimmage day. So what you'll want to do is, for our mini mites, decide how much of time you can put into that first practice, ultimately into each of these sections to progress, based on kind of how the team can progress. And then in that 20 minutes or so to 25 minutes before each scrimmage with your mini mites, you'll work on these drills during that time as well. With our mites, and Seth talked a little bit about when we were talking about getting to the field. So our mini mites, it's an hour, right? So you start practice at the start of that session and you'll end when it's done, give or take. I know a lot of times families on a Saturday morning are ready to go do other things. So usually you close up just about right on time. Our mites, the time will start at, I think, 3 different start times that we have programmed throughout the season based on daylight to get all of our game time in. So as a coach, you will want to schedule, I would say, 20 minutes to 30 minutes of additional warm-up time where you'll build skills. So at 5:30 is when we'll do our kickoff for the mites, and then you would want to be there 5 o'clock or 5:10. Yep. And then that's where you can use these drills during that time. This is the first drill I do every year. So it's the toe trap drill. There's a YouTube video on the digital version. So the first thing I want to do is just get kids to learn that you can move the ball with just about all parts of the feet. So we start with literally the toe tap. So it's just back and forth like this. And then we progress to now it's like, hey, we're going to use just the inside of our feet. So we just get them in place, moving back and forth, getting comfortable. I got to get back to my soccer shape. Then we tell them things like we go outside to the inside and back and just get them comfortable moving that ball. Obviously, we'll switch feet then. And then we can do things like inside of the foot, out, use the toe to bring it back. Just getting that comfort, warming up, switch the feet, doing others. If you guys want to grab balls, go ahead. You guys want to be helpers? All right, then we can do even like outside of the foot to outside of the foot, getting comfort moving that ball. So I might do that for, well, honestly, it will depend on the team's focus level. But 3 minutes, 4 minutes is probably not a bad amount of timing as you progress through. The kids won't be very good at the start, just like I wasn't here first time of the season, but they'll get better as it goes on. And then as kind of a team building too, if you use it to warm them up kind of week over week or practice over practice or pre-game, it's good to say, okay, everybody will be a circle, we'll toe tap. Okay, Anna, come up with the next one, right? After you sort of build a little bit of 6 or 7 they become familiar with, and then they can have some leadership and choose what's next. All right, so then what we'll do next for our dribbling, we'll have a line. Usually it's just the sideline, and then I'll have a couple of cones, and then we'll work on dribbling down and back. We'll tell kids to use their right foot. Usually what I find, especially mini mites, it's like raise your right hand, make sure they're all raising the correct hand, touch the leg on that side. That's where we're to start. So just try to keep it simple, and we'll say we're going to use just the outside of the foot. We'll go down to our line. Tell them to turn back, come back. And then we'll go down and back with the inside of the foot. And then we'll try the left foot. And then we'll go to the inside and outside. And then eventually we can try to say, let's see how quick we can do if we use both feet. But we just want to get that comfort moving a ball around. Then what's a fun one for the kids is we set up 4 cones. Will you grab me some more cones, Anna? And this is where we get a few more parents if you want to come help be on a ball. So we're going to keep it a small space. But what I'll typically do then is use like a goal line and a sideline, and then I'll use cones to create a nice clean line, and we'll call this the monster drill. So you gotta stay inside the cones. Coaches or older siblings are great too, are the monsters. You have to keep the ball away. So this is definitely one of those organized chaos type drills. What it does is it gets kids moving with the ball at their feet. It allows me to have one-on-one coaching time. So like as Anna comes toward me, I come in, I say, "Hip, you got to make a move. You got to make a move. Make a decision and go. Now go, go, now go, go." All right, not exactly what we want, but that's okay. Let's try. So if somebody comes toward me, if you come towards me, and I come up and we break, and I say, "You got to pick a side, now go." Nope, now accelerate after you get by me. So you can coach one-on-one. Then all of a sudden I'm in front of another kid, and it's the same kind of thing. And now you got to make a side and go, pick a side and go. What happens is monsters are trying to get the balls outside the cone area. So like if we come this way, now kick kind of far. So now look, it goes far, and I would say, hey, look, if you get the ball too far away, a monster can get it, and then they have to go grab their ball and come back in. Sorry for being the one that, showed how not to do it. But it allows me to move it just quick from one kid to the next. We keep movement going and encourage, keep the ball close, because if it gets too far, monsters can get it, right? And it encourages that once you pick a side, now you got to try to move quicker. So it allows a lot of movement, and then there's some chaos, right? Everybody's got a ball. So you're avoiding the players and all that. That's a really good one just about any time. Gets the kids warmed up. They like the idea of being, monsters after them. Depending on, how much they're grasping the game of soccer or not, when you get into game time, hey, the other team's a bunch of monsters. Keep the ball away from them or try to put it in the net, right? All right, then next, the passing practice plan. So we'll just line up across from each other. The biggest thing we want to think about in passing to help them understand, certainly passing was the inside of the foot. And then second, our plant foot is going to point to where we want to pass it. So we want to practice where we're pointing my toes to my partner, and I literally start in this position with all, doesn't matter the age, mini mite, cub, junior. We're going to start, I'm pointing to my partner, and I'm going to practice swinging through with my foot. So we're going to do that. If you want to come back, same thing. Perfect. So we're going to teach them that the plant foot's going to be right next to the ball, swing through. Eventually what we're going to work on too is then we're going to take, just like Jason did, the step back, right? And we're going to step into it, point and pass. We're going to continue to expand back. Then, why have you take over as passer? What we can do, this is a good one for our mini mites if coaches become dribblers, to create a little bit of a, hey, we got to keep our head up when we pass, right? Because if you just pass and somebody's in the way, then the ball might get knocked. Depending on kind of the mini mites team, like last year, we had a couple coaches dribbling down the middle, and I said, try to hit the ball, right? They had fun with that because they can try to knock the ball out of the coach's feet or hit the coach, right? So if we do that now even, now they're trying to be conscious about looking about where they're passing the ball. They're paying attention to other things on the field instead of just the partner and just them. Mini mites, what I'll do is we get progressed through the season. I'll have 2 kids on the end start to dribble back and forth because now they learn to dribble through traffic, and we have our passers learning how to pass through traffic. We're going to do the same kind of thing with our kicking drill. I just learned this last year though. The biggest thing when we're trying to do like a kick for a goal, this is probably why I stopped soccer in 5th grade, but we're trying to get our knee over the ball and use our laces to kick. So apparently the biggest thing is if we get our knee over the ball when we go to kick, then we're never going to sail it over the goal. So we'll do the same sort of thing where we line up with our friend and we're going to work on kicking using our same point toe. We'll back up, and then Then what we can do, and this is again where I love to get a little more of just chaos. So mini mites with these nets, it's not as easy, but definitely when we get to our mites with the bigger nets, we can line up a bunch of kids around the arc and we're gonna just kick right into the net, right? Then what we'll do is this. What I love to do, let me see if there's an easy way to do this. Not as easy, I should add extra cones. So then the next thing I'll do is this. Anna, maybe come, or actually I need an adult to control it. Does an adult have a decent control? So if we pretend this is the goal, this is bigger than the goal at Lincoln, right? I'll put us 2 adults, two parents, or 2 coaches in the goal. After we get some good, just mechanics to know how to kick, I'll put the 2 coaches in goal, or potentially it's an older sibling and me, or whatever, whoever's comfortable having ball kick. Get them all lined up on the arc, and I'll say, go ahead and kick the goal. So kick it at me though. And so we have 2 goalies. So what's going to happen? More than likely, I'm gonna block it. Okay. So what are you gonna do? Come follow your kick and go. You're gonna keep kicking until we get in the goal. We're trying to create some of that. Follow my shot and just know, hey, after I kick, I don't just stand there and watch. And mini mites. I mean, again, we're not going to the pros the next year, but there's always going to be some chaos around the goal. So even if a goalie doesn't block it, right? It can hit another kid. It can whatever. It can go off the bar. So teaching kids to follow their shots up. And I mean, I literally if we do it again, they're depending on the kid, it might be if they kick, it might be one of this, and we try to get them to move over, kick it again. Then if you want to kick it again, and then if they come up to kick it again, it might be like this, and it's just just try to get them to follow up, and it's literally if it's on the goal line, just practice coming and put it in the net. Then defensively, if we can help line all the balls up here between these 2 taller cones. All right, this is called the cookie jar game. The kids love this one a lot. This teaches how to move on our feet. It's dribbling around players. It's defending a space. It's passing. I say passing last because usually it takes 3 or 4 times to start to encourage kids to figure out you can actually pass the teammates in this one. So you're going to pair up your players. So in this game, those are all cookies now. And then here's our cookie jar. The object is to get the cookies, as many cookies in your cookie jar as possible you set the time. Usually mini mites, 30 seconds. Sometimes we might push them to a minute. Mites, it's a minute, maybe a minute and a half. So you'll say go, or you'll blow the whistle, and we'll go out, so everyone come out and get a ball. So this is where it starts, nice and easy typically, right? You're gonna grab this ball, you learn how to dribble, you're coming back, you defend. Now all the cookies are gone from the center. What do you have to do? Go find another cookie jar to take them from. So this is where now the kids start to learn how to move and shuffle and be defenders. So now you got to go find the cookie from somebody else because you're trying to keep them.
Good.
And when we get to the point where they're starting to get it, it's like, hey, what if I pass to my teammate? Can we get a ball in a lot quicker? And now I can go to another cookie jar. So that's the kind of the progression. And you can, even just going to and from cookie jars is huge, right? It's getting comfort, moving against their teammates, which become, opponents. Getting them back to their cookie jar, they get excited. You make a time limit to it, and it can wear them out too. So it's a great one to even end practice on. So the last one I'm going to do is basically more of a mites specific one. So we're going to try to, will you just turn that net this way maybe? So we're going to try to have some imaginary space here a little bit. But if this is our goal, I call this the out and up drill. I always have this fear, not mini mites, but mites on. I have a fear of a kid playing defense against this goal and deciding that they're going to pass the ball to a teammate over here, and then it just becomes a goal, right? We just pass it in front of our own net. So for mites, if we imagine this field being bigger, so I will put those cones 15 feet from the center line and probably 15 feet in from the sideline. And I end every warm-up before our mites games with this drill. We'll split half the team to offense and then half the team to defense. The offense will start with the ball. They're trying to score a goal. And a lot of times I'll play goal as a coach just to keep kids moving. Our defense wins the possession by clearing the ball out to the sideline and then up past our cones. If they could clear it through the middle of the field, then offense can keep playing and come back to still try to score. If offense scores, we flip. If defense clears the ball out and up the field, then they flip. But it's just to try and get kids to understand we don't pass the ball in front of our net, right? And have another team come in and get a goal. And that's the reinforcement, right? So that's why it's the out and up drill. And then as I'm goalie, and it's like, hey, Anna's got the ball. Anna, outside, or to the right. Want to clear it to the right. So we try to help them understand. It's amazing. 3 to 4 weeks of that, and for the most part, they'll start to understand. Don't keep it, don't clear it through the middle of the field and don't pass it in front of your net. All right, the last one, and this is sort of the throw-ins. Obviously, I want to teach proper mechanics, feet on the ground, over the head, 2 hands. I have a pretty good YouTube video that I think is the best I've found as a way to teach it from a progression standpoint. So that's an easy one to track down. Usually I don't make it a priority right away, but it's a good one when maybe it's that if you have your first mini mites, that first full hour of practice time, we probably don't cover throw-ins, right? I want to keep the ball at the feet and people moving. I might try to take 5 to 10 minutes before the first, that warm-up time before the first game or scrimmage, and then try to get that progression from a throw-in standpoint. Our mites, I'll probably fit it into the first couple days of that practice, probably the second day kind of thing. Like when they end up tired, it's a good one to do. But some of the basics, again, the video is awesome. It's teaching kids to find an octagon or whatever patch based on the ball, getting your fingers around each patch, getting nice wide hands around it. So we learn how to reach way back to where you're almost gonna fall. So we really get extension and learn how to use the abs and everything up in the upper half. And then eventually we'll stand up and then learn how to use the feet as well.